frame, and instead she'll die by default because I have a catch-all kill switch, just in case the enemy doesn't kill themselves. They won't just be stuck around. So if you have some kind of defect, it self-fixes itself. But like we just saw, we just had an AI mob. It has different configurations for being spawned by spawn spears or or being dropped into the map and set from a drop-down list of all the monsters that you have in your database and filtered by type or level. You have NPC setups, which are the main points for either crowd spawners or event starters. You can have them be on stationary, patrol, and things like that. These are currently stationary. This is an example of patrol NPC that goes back and forth between points. It can go either end to end or cycle. You have cutscene actors. Cutscene actors are used to load your character information based on your current equipment and things like that, or certain other actor configurations for their different clothing types. So that way, as your character changes, your cutscene character can change for any given cutscene. I have the hover. I have a spell example that's loud, so I'm not going to press that. Don't press that. Okay, she pressed it, so I'm going to go here now. While this is happening, like this is just a spell example of an area AoE effect. The annoying bright pinkness is just a general area of gravity where it's pulling all the enemies into a circle. This spell can be spawned by both the enemies and your party, and it has pretty much just a checkbox that tells when you spawn it, that just tells the actual particle itself who you seek out to hurt and damage. And you can also have the host who spawned it mapped into it, so it can do damage based on the person that spawned it. And let's see, now that crazy loudness is over, let's see, that actually slowed me down. Again, here I go over the AI behavior that I talked about before. I have my game modes, which is open world, or I have two examples: an open world and a closed world. I'll call it Battle Arena. Think of Battle Arena like the classic Final Fantasy types, where you go into a little battle area and it's either kill or be killed. You can't really flee outside of run. Open world is just more open. That goes over the Battle Arena. I added my building generator to the tool, so it's in a plug-in state, so it's easy to move from project to project. For anyone that doesn't know, this tool pretty much is used to create buildings from modular pieces. So this building was created from a prefab that was put together inside of a secondary tool that I made, which is part of the tool for the database manager. But pretty much you can just map out prefabs and assign those to a building theme type, so you can load many different buildings based on theme to be able to create those buildings out of those shapes. I'm starting from this down here. I'm gonna have to speed up just in case I run out of time. This NPCs used to add and remove party members. And this one adds it back, just showing off the different features of the different components inside of the event list that you can use the database manager to put together different assortments of events. Adding items, removing items, adding money, removing money, adding EXP. I'm gonna cheat. Level 2. I have an item store. you can pretty much, with the database manager, you can go in and make different sets of equipment, armor, weapons, and even craftable items. I added the ability to be able to map craftable items to different items that you make for the standard items, the weapons, and the armor, just in case you want to use it for have a crafting system. I've added ability or starting ability to have a crafting system. I'm not using it per se, but that was one of the requests that I had, so I added it. You have an end to be able to revive your characters. You can also save. It's a previous save that I had. I'll come back to the treasure chest in a second. You can play a movie. Have a save system. I don't think I enabled his events. Either that or I didn't attach his event to his NPC character. But in the release demo, I'll have that enabled so you can click that and save your game. This guy's an example of event quest. So it's pretty much just like the fetch quest 1. Go out and get these items. I've already bought them from the store just now. So he sent me out, say, hey, get this stuff for me. I'll make it up to you, blah, 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 blah. So now I brought it back. He thanks me. He gives me the money. And now he's gone because I set it up to where if an NPC doesn't have an event, it'll hide the NPC object. This is configurable when you drop your NPC out. If you don't want it to hide when you don't have an event, you can just leave it there. However you want, pretty much. I'm actually gonna show this real quick. I have the ability to change the time of day, and I can't remember if I've done these or not. I feel it was the previous recording, but you can play different sounds. You can change the mood of the events that's going on right now, or you can trigger the weather. I don't have any weather to show right now, so. Also have a teleport party event if you want to move the party to a different a place in the map. I actually used that at the beginning of the game to teleport my party members from the docks to up here, which happened in the middle of the fade out for the cutscenes. I have the ability to zone to another map that I'm going to show in a few minutes. And that brings us to the treasure chest. So to start the next fetch quest with that guy, if you open this treasure chest, of which I bought the items to open the treasure chest, it starts another stream of events. So we got a message in a bottle and it said take it to the guy at the quest booth. So we're going over here to the quest booth. Our quest guy is back. He's shocked by what we found. Here's his wife's handwriting. Words. And I got a key for the other treasure chest. Now, with these treasure chests, the way I set up the treasure chest is this treasure chest is a infinite treasure chest. What that means is when you open the treasure chest, it can be respawned when you re-enter that area. So if you have treasure chests that are in a dungeon that gives you a different random amount of items when you open it, that one you would want to be infinite respawned. But ones that are special, that are a singleton type of treasure chest, or at least that's what I called it, you can actually register that treasure chest that you just put down into the database as a singleton instance. So that way, once you open it, it won't be available to be opened again. On top of that, I don't think I actually got anything when I first opened it. I opened this treasure chest outside of the event that happened. I have a 10% spawn rate on the items that's in the treasure chest. So depending on when I open it, it's going to do an RNG on every single item. And if I qualify for any item in that list, I'll get the item. Also made it to where you can have any number of sets of keys to actually open this treasure chest. This treasure chest required 4 books to open. So I pretty much bought that from the store, opened it with the treasure chest. Well, opened the treasure chest with them. So let me open this one. It starts a cutscene. We find a skull and a letter talking about how he killed his wife. So now we got 4 books, skull and ashes, of which technically this event is over right now. This person's stuck in the treasure chest. And for some reason the other part of this event quest is not responding, which is just should be him dead on the ground. But I'll fix that when I get around to the full demo being released, and that'll be able to be in a working state. Let's see. I'm coming down to the end of my thing. So I have it to where you can sell all your items. I have the ability in here to where you can set certain items to negative in the database manager. I don't have it filtered out here, but if something's set to negative, it can't be sold. If it's a sell number, you can mark that as not being sellable. If it's a buy, that means that it won't be able to show up in a NPC store. Or at least that's my logic behind it. I haven't added that, but I added the ability to be able to do that from the database manager. Let's see. Let me show zoning so I can show that the treasure chest when coming back will stay that way. This is just another map that I made just to have something different. I'm not the best artist in the world, but I wanted something different than what I've been working on for too long now. While I'm out here, I'm going to show off a swimming example. This is I'm not using any kind of volume or anything like that. This is actually calculating swimming based on detecting when I hit the water and when I'm going in and out of the water, to be able to process the in and out of water effect. Same thing with the camera. Changes the post effect, blendable, whatever have you, when you actually go underwater. Let's go here and go through the zone. Zones are actually driven by the database as well. Inside the database, you can set up all your maps that you have in your game. You can control what level they're part of, which is their region. You can control their spawning location, which is the waypoint in the map that they're gonna teleport to when you zone into that map, and you can control the area, which is the my brain cut off. Which is the level streaming in. So pretty much when you zone, if you're zoning to the same map, but it's a different area that has a different level stream, this will show up. And now the NPCs are actually sitting on the point of interest. For some reason, it is completely invisible. I'll have to check my mesh. I know it has no textures on it, but it should at least show up. It shows up in Pi, but not released for some reason. And these are actually at a conversation point of interest, to where they're just standing around in a circle, talking, doing random actions, things like that. And this is a battle invoker event, which pretty much you can use for ambushes and things like that for an event. Hopefully, if I don't die, I can show a little bit more. I'm almost out of time. And since I was able to kill it, it continued the event stream to go on and do whatever else you want to do with an event. don't believe I talked about the NPCs in this recording. With the NPCs, I pretty much set them up with spawn spears, and these spawn spears will react to how close I am to the actual spear, and it will load and respawn the NPCs based on my distance. So as you saw, as I got further away, it started to pretty much eat away at the NPCs one NPC at a time, to be able to show that it's trying to do load balancing and things like that, so you don't have too many AIs eating up your frames per second for your game. I didn't even enable frames per second for this. Meant to. But this just shows an example of all the NPCs running around the city. Now before I run out of time and the recording starts laughing on myself, I should have just went through the door. I'll just fly out. So this is the city area-ish. There's nothing out here, but this just shows off all the different buildings that you can create with the building tool. These are just a few, I think about 7 prefabs that I made. Let's see if I can get to the zoning real quick before I run out of time. I think I got about 5 minutes. So with this one, I'm not actually zoning to another map. It's supposed to do a fade right here, but for some reason camera fades are not working in the build version. I gotta fix that as well. But what you just saw was it tried to load the level stream, and the level stream didn't get there yet. So when you zone into this area, it enrolls you into the waypoint, and the waypoint will make sure that it doesn't release your character until it knows that the land under it exists. So that way there's no way you can fall through a incomplete level stream load. And when I loaded the level stream with the zoning, I actually set it to block. So technically I shouldn't have been able to get here without the level being loaded. But even with that block check, for some reason the level stream is still not loading. So out here, these are all the monsters that's been loaded from the monster spawner. So you can have an open field of monsters pretty much everywhere. And as you leave the area and they become smaller and smaller in the background, they'll start to be unloaded just like the other events, like the other NPCs in the other map. And this is just an open example out here of just everything in general. Just landscape examples. There's nothing really much out here outside of these NPCs, really. And I guess I'll go and try to kill myself in the game. But that's pretty much everything that I have to show. I might have missed 1 or 2 things, but I'm gonna have the demo out hopefully by this weekend or next week to play through, and after that I just have to get documentation together and see if I can submit this to the marketplace. Even though depending on how I have this set up, since I have a separate application, they may not allow my database manager in the marketplace, but I'm gonna talk to them and see if there's anything that can be done about that. But until next time, I guess, have a nice day.